Today, I am going to be setting my 2026 planning and journaling routine, so stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm Tracy and I want to welcome you back to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for choosing to press that play button on this video. So yeah, today I'm going to be coming up with some kind of routine when it comes to fitting my planning and my journaling into my schedule. So I have a lot of planners and I have even more journals that I need to use throughout the month. Let's say that throughout the month, and that I plan to use come January. And a lot of them are priorities in 2026. When it comes to my planners, I was very, very intentional when it came to my planners. I like to have a planner for all the different areas of my life. That's why I have so many. And I do feel like they are essential. So they're not things that I feel like I can give up. We'll see as the year goes on, but I feel like they're all pretty much essential, at least right now. And then when it comes to my journals, I also have several that I find are, we'll say, very, very important. I have a lot that are going to be used for memory keeping purposes, which is going to be a priority of mine in 2026. And then I have others that are kind of ones that I can write in to get out my feelings, to boost confidence, to kind of focus on positivity and things like that. Plus, they are, for me, an essential creative outlet. So yeah, I have a lot, but I like them all. I like the idea of them all because some of them are new to me. So I really want to try to figure out a way to balance my planning and my journaling with my everyday life, and that is where this routine comes in. So even though I'm going to share with you some of the planners that I'm going to be using, just because me showing you what I'm talking about will probably be a little bit easier than me to just talking without showing. I'm not going to go through everything. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of my planner lineup, but I have a planner lineup video already on my channel. I also have a video where I talked about 4 new creative projects that I will be starting in the new year, and I did an end of the year journal check-in. And in that video, most of the journals I checked in with are journals that will be continuing into the new year. I will link all 3 of those videos down in the description box because they go over all of these in a lot more detail. So for my planners, I have a catch-all planner, which is my main planner. It's the planner that houses everything, including my work. I have a daily planner, which is this guy here. This is a Hemlock and Oak daily. This one, I'm calling it a planner, but it's really going to be acting as a journal because it's going to record things that have actually happened instead of things that I intend to happen. So yeah, this is going to be more of a journal, but if I need more space in my actual catch-all planner, then it will also serve as an overflow because there's just a lot of space in here. So I feel like it can serve both purposes if needed, but it's going to primarily be that journal. I have a project planner. And when I say project, it is any type of things that require, or any type of project that requires multiple steps. That also includes creative projects, also filming video content and things of that nature, in addition to home projects, cleaning projects, what have you. I have a daily health and fitness planner, and I have also introduced a supplemental health and wellness journal that I will be using intermittently to obviously supplement that. I have a social media bullet journal. And then finally, I have an on-the-go planner that will be used intermittently, used as needed. So I guess I shouldn't say intermittently because at this point, with still, 2 to 3 weeks left in the month, I'm not sure how January is going to shape up. So it might be something I end up having to use every single week. But right now, it is one of those planners that is going to be used only as needed. And then I'm not going to go down the whole list of every purpose for my journals, but I have quite a few memory keeping type journals. I have reading journals, yes, journals as in plural, but a couple of them are just also as needed. I have journals that I write in to write about my feelings, or to kind of write prompt-based journaling to kind of improve confidence or focus on positivity. I have a social media tracker. I have a currently journal, currently prompts. I have a monthly projects journal, think like October daily, December daily. So like monthly projects on that level. And then I also have a few like fun journals that are very intermittent, like a vision board journal, and then just a regular plain old creative journal. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. All the journals are not priorities, but a lot of them are. So we're going to focus mostly on the priority ones today. But yeah, this is my first time doing something like this, so bear with me, but we will make it through, and hopefully this kind of gives you some insight or maybe helps give you ideas about maybe planning out how to actually find the time to be in your planners or journals. And while I have a lot and it seems like I definitely need to make time, I will say sometimes with just 2 or 3 planners or maybe even just one, you also need to make time for that because, life gets in the way. Life gets in the way of our planning and creating. So there we go. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is my focus is going to be weekly setups. So what planners, what journals, what have you do I need to think about for weekly setups and trying to figure out how to balance those out. I don't want to do all of those setups on the same day because that will require hours of my time. I also need to think about monthly setups because again, when monthly setups is probably more difficult than weekly setups because weekly it's just my planners. And usually it's just putting in information, and sometimes I don't even need to do that for all of my planners. But my journals and my planners, most of them all have to get set up for an upcoming month. And that can be very overwhelming, especially when you do them all in one week. So I really need to figure out a way to kind of balance that out as well. And then thinking about what I need to visit throughout the day. Do I need to visit some every single day? Do I need to visit them multiple times a day? Do I need to visit them multiple times a week? And things like that. That way I can kind of maybe like just put it on my radar. I don't really want to put it as like a to-do in one of my planners, but I just want to like think about which planners are going to call, like, I don't want to say cause the most work, but which ones I need to like utilize more than others. Maybe that's what I'll say. Okay. So first I'm going to start with this most simplistic, and that's just going to be daily because it's really not that much that I have to visit daily. So this is more of what I need to be aware of. So for daily, I have my catch-all. And for that one, I definitely need to visit this one in the morning, pretty much right when I start my day. The only issue with this is I am a hybrid worker, meaning I primarily telework, but I also have to go into the office, and sometimes that could be 50-50. Like each week, it could be like 3 days at home, 2 days in the office, vice versa. When I have to go into the office, there is no morning planner check-in. And I think that's okay because at that point, most of my to-dos that go for work are usually the ones that I need to do when I'm at home. Just things change when I'm in the office. There's usually a reason why we're going into the office, so my to-dos change. So I think this will be like my telework and days off and weekends. And then on my days that I go into the office, the first time I'll likely check into my planner is when I get home. To be completely honest with you, that is when I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to put this here. I'm going to put telework, off days. Oh, off days will include the weekend. So we'll just do that. So telework and off days. And then on telework days, when I get home. I mean, that's just reality. I'm just being realistic for some reason. On the days I have to go into the office, I literally wake up, get ready, go to work. I don't sit down. I don't journal. I don't check in with my planners. I just go. The days I telework, I have a little bit more flexibility because I don't have to commute. So the time that I would have gotten ready and then gotten in my car to commute, I use that time now to get into my planners, maybe even journal, and then just prep for the day. So I definitely want to do the mornings, and then I usually do like an evening check-in. And that's just to kind of see like what's going on for the day ahead. If I'm like the next day, if I'm being completely honest. So like the morning is more like looking at what's coming up that day. And then I do check in as needed. So then it is kind of as needed as I need to like look at my schedule for days ahead or whatever. But usually I do like to check in with my planner toward the end of the day to kind of see what's coming up for the next day or what I need to be aware of for that week. Also to make changes. So it's more of a check-in and then to make adjustments. Because my planner is definitely like ongoing throughout, like all of my plans are like, you know, they're not set in stone come Sunday. I am adding things on Monday that's going to be happening on Tuesday because, you know, there's always those last minute things. As needing. We'll say as needed. I can't write and talk, y'all. I can't write and talk. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I need for the catch-all. I don't visit this at night, like at bedtime. When I say evening, I'm talking like 5, 6 o'clock. So it's not any pre-bed stuff or anything like that. It'll probably stay in my office/craft room. That's where I work from home. And it just seems to fit best there. So that's where that is going to go. The other thing that I'm going to be in daily is going to be I was going to say my journal, but we'll say my journal planner. I guess I should say hemlock and oak daily. That's what I should have said. I just don't know what to call it because, you know, this year it was my catch-all. So it's kind of like, oh, what do I call it this next year? We'll have to see. I did customize this cover by adding a iron-on decal that I printed with my Cricut. I just typed up a quote and, you know, threaded it and then threaded off the vinyl and then put the vinyl on and then did an iron. So I did film a video for that too. So being some add-in videos down in the description box, I'll add that one too. So this one, the one time I really need to be on in it is going to say nighttime. So I think this is where I kind of want to end my day and also stay in my craft room/office. It's just the best place for it. But, you know, as I'm wrapping up the day, usually I film my videos at nighttime, usually like around 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So after I film a video, I might pull this out, go ahead, record all of the events of the day, and then maybe decorate. It'll be like kind of my downtime. So I really do want to be in this every single day. However, if it's every other day, it's fine. I'll say as needed. And then I'll put, you know, it could be daily, but it could also be every other day if needed. Because again, it's not controlling the chaos. It's just recording the chaos. But yeah, this is the planner. So yeah, I will be doing some videos, especially at the beginning of the year, to show you how I'm going to be using this. I constantly am thinking of new things that I want to record because I really want to record a lot of things I've never captured anywhere. Like when I start a new skincare routine or, you know, a new bedtime skincare routine, I want to write the product in. So that way I know the day I started it and then I can like write about it because I've been trying a lot of new products. So like something as simple as that are things I want to record in this particular journal, plus every little thing that happened that day as well, because it's going to help me with memory keeping. I think for the most part, those are two of the, my health and fitness. This is one that I forget about when I think about planners because it is a tracker. So it's kind of like this Hemlock and Oak Daily. It's going to be tracking things after the fact. This one I am in throughout the day and it's small. It's a A5. Here it is. So it's a small A5. This usually is hanging out in my living room or in my workout room. And that kind of helps me utilize it throughout the day, especially at nighttime. However, if I don't do it at nighttime, first thing in the morning is fine. So if I do use it first thing in the morning, I usually just record my wake up time. And then I record all of my like Apple Watch stats from the day before. And then anything that I didn't fill in for the day before, I'll go ahead and write that in as well. But yeah, I definitely utilize that one multiple times a day. I will definitely be filming a video probably early on in January as well, where I will be showing you how I utilize this. That way you can see how often sometimes I'm in there. Like after I work out or during my workouts, I sometimes get in there because I'm recording like the weight size I'm using and things like that. So that one I'm definitely in more throughout the day, but it's something that I'm like tracking. So that's kind of the reason for that. So then we're going to say multiple times a week, or should we say every other day? We'll say multiple times a week. So multiple times a week, we have my project planner. This one I very well may be in every single day, but it's not essential. This is my project planner. Yes, I'm calling it a project planner versus a goal planner. Yeah, so it's just a horizontal, but this is going to have a lot, like I said, when I need to film social media videos, it's going to have the video I need to film, and then it's going to break down like what I need to do for that video. When I'm doing a creative project, like my project life, I'm going to have that in there. Then I'm going to have some notes about that, kind of prep me for that, as far as like what needs to be done and stuff like that. So this does need to be visited multiple times a week, but again, every day, no. If I do, great, but it doesn't need to be done every day. And it pretty much only needs to be visited probably one time a day. And with that said, I think if it's multiple times a day, it's going to be me adding to the planner, but actually coming in to review the planner, it only probably needs to be once a day. So we'll just say we'll do EOD for every other day. So one times a day, every other day, to review and kind of track habits. Again, I don't want this to be a lot of work. It's not going to be a lot of work. This is actually, I think, going to be a big help to me. I think this is going to be probably a bigger supplement to my catch-all than my daily, if I'm being honest. The way I'm kind of foreseeing using it, I'll do videos for all of this. Don't worry, guys. I probably will do a video of me trying to figure out how to use it, and then we'll do check-in videos of me, so you can like maybe every month or every other month, so you can see what changes and things of that nature. But yeah, I think that one's going to require kind of minimal work. At least how I'm envisioning right now. All right. The other one I probably need to visit as far as planners multiple times a week, I think would be my social media. This is not going to be every other day. So this will be just like 3-4 times a week. So it's not every other day. It's just, it's more going to be as needed, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but my social media bullet journal is mainly a brain dump, and it has like more of a monthly overview. I'm going to put some of the like daily stuff in here, weekly stuff in here. So I don't really need to like visit that often. However, I think referring to that will keep me on track, because I'll need to like look at what's coming up to kind of add things for this week and next week in my project planner. A lot of this stuff is kind of hard to explain because I've never actually done it yet. So I'm like figuring it out as I go. By the way, this cute little notebook, I wanted to get some, I wanted some Coach covers, and sometimes they go on clearance. I think I got it for like $30. And this is the notebook that came in it. I'm not a fan of lined notebook, y'all, but this is like thick paper. This feels like it's like 160 GSM, y'all. Just saying. All right. So yeah, that's multiple times a week. The other one that's going to be multiple times a week, we're going to still do the multiple, is going to be my 3-year journal. I really want to make sure that I'm doing the prompts on different days. I only have 12 prompts per month. in my 3-year journal because I'm just using an A5 192-page journal. So there's just not enough pages to do 365 prompts. Plus, that is way unrealistic for me. So the 12 prompts a month have been completely manageable. I started it at the beginning of 2025, was successful this year, and I hope to be successful for the next 2 years. And to be successful, this is something that I definitely need to be aware that I need to be in this particular journal 3 times a week, I think. Right? Yeah, because then that would be on a 4-week month, that would hit my 12. So I need to be in this one 3 times a week. Now, I will not be scheduling this into a routine because they are journaling prompts. And I find that when it comes to journaling, I need to be more in the mood to do it. Even if it is prompt-based journaling, I would just rather be in the right mindset before I sit down and do it. So it's not going to be something that I'm going to add to my planner. It's something that what I will probably do is in my catch-all planner. See, I customized this as well. I'm probably going to put some things over here that I need to do each week, or I may even put it in my project planner. It's just going to kind of depend on where there's room because there's habits here. And I just know I need to do it 3 times a week. So I will just kind of use that as something to hold me accountable. If there's a week where I only do it twice, I'm not going to double up on Sunday and do 2 prompts on Sunday. I just know that next week I need to do it 4 times. So I just really don't want to do 2 prompts in one day because I want to answer them on different days because, you know, different mindset gives you different answers type thing. Yes, y'all, I ramble a lot. I am sorry. The other thing I need to probably visit multiple times a week. Oh, before I get to that, we're going to do, I'm still calling this my affirmations journal because it's just something that I've been calling it or been using it for like the past 3 to 4 months. It's just a kind of another prompt-based type journal, but the prompt is an affirmation. I'm going to be changing it up a little bit in 2026. I had originally talked about this journal, which I planned on starting in January. I'm not going to start this one in January now. This is a Live Love Posh journal, by the way. I have a lot of discount codes and affiliate links down in the description box for a lot of places. So just check down in there before you shop because it might save you a little bit of money. And I do earn a tiny kickback for a lot of the shops. But this one was going to be kind of my positivity journal, or what I kind of nicknamed Journal of Joy. I just wanted to capture like things that brought me joy throughout the day because I feel like sometimes it's hard to find joy certain days. And I feel like sometimes if you really think about and sit back, you're like, yeah, that was actually a good thing that happened in this quote unquote bad day. So I wanted to do that in here. However, I am currently in the middle of an affirmations journal, and I feel like they're a little too similar. So again, trying to manage what I'm actually able to do in a week, I decided to add my positivity, journal of joy type stuff into this journal with the affirmations. It's going to kind of add some variety, I think, to this one. I'm going to fill this one up. Or I hope to fill this one up. And then when this one gets filled up, that is when I will move, knocking stuff on the floor. That is when I will move into this journal. So that's the plan for that. For this one, I actually want to be in it a lot. I'm just saying multiple times a week. It could be every day, and I will be so happy for that. But I'm just not really a daily journaler. Says the girl that plans to be doing some daily journaling in here, but this is more record keeping, which is a little bit easier than sitting down with your thoughts. I don't think it's the action of being in something every day that like steers me away from it. I think it's writing about my thoughts every day, my thoughts and feelings. So yeah, I want to be in this a lot. We'll just say a lot. Both of these, I think I am going to put on my habit trackers. So I'm calling it a habit tracker. But basically, I want to put a tally on a sidebar just so I'm kind of like holding myself accountable because these I definitely want to stay on top of. The other thing that I want to stay on top of, I have a little cheat sheet off to the side so I don't like forget about something because like I said, there are some new concept journals and planners for this year. And because I'm not using them yet, I forget about them. I think that's it, because when I'm talking about multiple times a week, I am talking about 3 or more is what I'm talking about when I talk about multiple times a week. Now I think what we're going to talk about is those I need to be in once or twice a week. All right. So for planners, even though it's kind of a journal, I definitely need to be in my health journal, because I need to remember to jot down things that aren't necessarily captured in my daily planner into my journal. I will be going over that in detail with you guys in another video. But yeah, I want to record all of the things. I want to record things like medication, whether it be prescription or over the counter. I want to include like anxiety and things of that nature, and stress and all of that fun stuff, and dietary plans and stuff like that. So I just kind of want to stay on top of it. A lot of that is going to be captured in my daily planner, my passion planner daily, but there's other things that I need to summarize for like a few days as a whole, like summarizing the week type thing. And that's where this is going to come in. But like I could probably get away with just doing it once a week, but we'll see. We'll see. This is going to be kind of like have to figure it out as I go, how many times I really need to be in it during the week. The other one that I probably need to be in at least once a week is going to be, we're going to call it my Project Life Journal. It's really a memory keeper. It is my hemlock and oak. I have a lot of hemlock and oaks this year, y'all. It's my hemlock and oak horizontal weekly. I did customize this as well. I was just like, I want to decorate all of my hemlock and oaks, and I use the same vinyl, and I just put a quote on all of them. Next year I might, vary it up a little bit if I use another one, but I love these planners. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to be using for Project Life. Any overflow, meaning if I run out of space, because it is fairly small. So like this is, I believe, a 7x9. It might be a little bit bigger. This Moxie Life is a 7x9. And you can see how much smaller this is than that, especially width-wise, taking into account the coil. So, I do have a little bit of, I do have only a little amount of space when it comes to journaling for the week or memory keeping for the week, especially when I put photos in. So I'm going to be using a letter size dot grid Go-Getter Girl that I'm already been using for several years for memory keeping. I say already used kind of lightly, because even though I started in 2023, I think I only have like 10 spreads in there. Yeah, really bad about that. So I'm going to be overflowing, like whatever doesn't fit in here will go in there. But yeah, this I think I'm going to probably say at least once a week, because that's when I'm going to come in and set up for the week. But, again, journaling for me is all about feeling. And I might start doing the spread one day and just don't feel like finishing it. Or, I'm like, hey, I've gotten this done. I need to take a break because I need to think about how I want to do the rest. So it might be over the course of a few days or something of that nature. But I'm thinking at least once a week, maybe more. We'll see. I'm going to put monthly projects on here. It's a B5 Archer and Olive journal. And when I say monthly projects, I mentioned it's going to be like October daily, December daily, but I'm going to create a project like that every single month because they're large projects. So some months it could be daily. We'll say multiple times a week. We'll say what was that called? So monthly projects. Yeah. So yeah, some months if I do an October daily or if I do a December daily, I'm going to want to come in multiple times a week. I know I'm not going to do daily, so we'll just say multiple times a week. However, there's going to be other projects where I could probably just come in a couple times a week or once a week, and I'll be fine. Like they're just going to vary in size. I haven't settled on the projects. That's why I can't really give examples. We'll figure it out as we go, but definitely a minimum. I'm thinking a couple of times a week at minimum. So I'm thinking more like 2 times a week. Okay. And then we have, I guess we could say once a month. These are my minimum. Now, when I'm talking about this is all These are all just for basic weekly type things. So this is basically just for basic planning and journaling. This has nothing to do with the setups. So yeah, this is all about basic planning and journaling. So coming in, filling in your schedule for the week, or setting up a project. It could be creative. I'm going to be adding stickers to my planner, so there's going to be some creativity there, but we're not talking about actual monthly setups or anything like that. So when I say one time, I'm not even talking about weekly setups. We're just talking about kind of just daily type stuff. So reading journal, and that's going to be pretty much the setup and update. Could be once, could be twice. Depends on how I decide to do that. I don't know yet. What I mean is setting up for the upcoming month, but then also filling in for the prior month. That could be twice if I set up for the month ahead earlier in the month, which I can easily do, especially if there's a readathon that has already been made public. Then I can go ahead and set up my reading journal for that next month as early as like the 15th or 16th, whenever the readathon has, been released or whatever for that month. Usually that's what delays me. But the update has to get done after the month concludes. So usually this will be probably twice a month then. Okay. Because I'm thinking about those two. They'll be twice a month. The other one is going to be my currently journal. I am going to continue that into the new year. During my end of the year check-in, I was on the fence. I have decided to change journals. I will share that with you if I can find it. It might have been one of the ones that fell into the floor. Here we go. I am moving into an A5 for my currently journal. I have been in a 8x8 since May of 2023. I have been very inconsistent in 2025, but I really want to get consistent with it in 2026. I only have to come in here once a month, y'all. I really do. It's something that I can make a priority. I have some new ideas of how I want to do this. I'm still kind of brainstorming some of those things though, so I'll go over that probably during my first setup, which probably won't be until February because it's going to be January setup that I'm going to do in February. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much just that. And I think that's everything. I have some supplemental reading journals, but there's as needed. It's like a series review journal. So that only gets done when I finish a series. I also have a vision board journal that gets done whenever I feel like it, just like a creative journal. And then, like I said, on the go. So there we go there. That's a lot to take into consideration. But when you break it down like this, for the most part, most weeks 2 and 3, if it's a 5-week month, and 2, 3, and 4 aren't going to be that bad. The first and the last week still will probably be pretty busy because I'm still going to have to do my daily planning. I'm still going to have to check in with all of these other planners that are multiple times a week, do my journaling and things of that nature. But then I'm also going to have to do setups. I'm going to have to do setups for the week and for the month. This is where I become overwhelmed. Can you tell? So now let's talk about weekly setups. And actually, I don't have as much to do when it comes to weekly setups as is on like this list. So like, for example, my daily planner for my fitness and wellness, I don't do a weekly setup. I do meal planning. So I guess that is part of a setup. I don't like sit down and do that formally. I can do that on my couch. So I don't even know if I'm going to count that. Yeah. So, and then my daily does not need a setup because it's recording things that have happened. So it doesn't require a setup. So what requires a setup will be my catch-all planner and my project planner, and project life, and my affirmations journal. And this is more decorative or creative. So that's why I do Dutch doors and stuff. And I like doing that. That usually isn't a problem for me to find time to do that. Because, sitting down writing in your planner, that can be boring. But putting stickers on a page, you can make time for that. All right, so these are the 4 things that I need to do weekly setups for it. This one, I really need to do it like literally Saturday night at the earliest or Sunday. So this one really needs to get done Saturday night. You can tell I party hard when I say Saturday night. I can fill in my planner or Sunday. Just because I need to really know what's going on for the week ahead in order to properly plan. Now, I can decorate it and all that stuff whenever, especially this year because my decorations are going to be pretty much limited. It's probably going to be like 4 stickers on the page unless I use my icons to put in for some of my tasks. But yeah, just not going to have the room to decorate. But yeah, so Saturday night and Sunday. Project planner, I think that one, in all honesty, I can do that anytime. Because when it comes to my video schedule, I'm hoping to have like my YouTube, like my kind of flexible YouTube video schedule kind of set already for the month. So I already know what videos I want to put out like in week 4 of January. So I can already kind of figure out when I would want to record that video. I don't need to wait to Saturday night or Sunday of, the week prior to do that. I can do this anytime. I can set it up on a Wednesday or Thursday for the next week. I still need to do it weekly, but I can do it really anytime during the week. During week prior. Actually, I think I need to do it a little bit earlier of the week. So I'm thinking probably midweek would probably be ideal. Just because this is really going to help me with my catch-all. So this really needs to be set up before my catch-all. See, y'all? I don't know if I would have thought about that if I didn't sit down and map this out. If I'm being completely honest, I think I would have figured it out after like being in it for a while. But this is kind of helping me, y'all. Project Life, this one, I want to do it mid to late week because I'm going to be memory keeping for the week prior. So I'm going to be, and the reason why I am saying mid to late week instead of early in the week is because I'm going to need to print out photos and stuff like this. So this gives me time to print out photos. So I would need to print or order photos early week. So that's what kind of, because I haven't decided yet what's more cost effective, printing them out on my own or getting them from like Walgreens or Walmart. The quality is usually better that way, but I don't know if I want to deal with like picking it up or what have you. I can be lazy, especially in the wintertime, y'all. It's cold out there. And then affirmations journal, this is just going to be like whenever. And if I'm being honest, I love writing in a decorated journal. However, it is not a make or break. So that is truly a whenever. I don't really feel like I have to do it every week. If I've run out of decorated pages, I like to decorate them way in advance. So like right now, I think I have like probably like 6 pages decorated and ready to go. But if I run out of those and I haven't decorated anymore, it's fine. I can write with colorful pens. So yeah, I think that's it for my weekly setups. But, it doesn't seem like a lot, but then you have to remember that I'm combining this with this. Oh, you know what I'm forgetting about, y'all? You know what I'm forgetting about? Goals and action steps. And I'm forgetting about it because I'm calling this my project planner. But it's also going to house my goals. Although, what I've discovered in December, as I was using this planner, like not this one, but another one, I really like using my action steps to like lay out my to-dos for the week in those categories. So I don't really sit down and be like, oh, my goal is to do this, this, and this. Let me create action steps based on those goals. Nope. I just sit down and be like, okay, what I want to do that is in the personal category. in the fun and rec category. And I really love that, y'all. Really love that. So I don't think this is going to require much actual work, but I also think it's going to be part of my catch-all setup. So I think I want to do this when I do my catch-all. All right. All right. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to have to talk about monthlies. And this is going to take some thought because weekly, it's like you have to set it up that week before. I mean, you can probably get away with setting it up the Monday and Tuesday if you're running behind. But the monthly, I think I want to start splitting some of my setups up. So I'm not setting up all of my monthlies. And when I talk about monthlies, some of these setups, y'all, like for my catch-all, I have now moved my budget into here. I am not going crazy with the budget. I'm only going to be setting budget for a few categories each month. I'm only going to be tracking spending each month in a few categories. But it's still a little bit more intensive of a setup than just setting up my monthly calendar. And there are a few planners like that. My Moxie Life, I have goals that I need to set up for my month. So there's just a lot of things to consider. So I also, the one thing you guys haven't seen is me right in here, like my social media. So I need to visit my social media multiple times a week, but I actually don't need to set it up but once a month. I will start with that one. My social media, I honestly need to set it up, I would say the second week of the month. Or I say monthly. Maybe the third at the most, because that is where I'm prepping for the next month and I'm trying to map out my video schedule and things like that. And sometimes I need to start doing that stuff the last few weeks of the month that I'm in to prep for the next month. So that's the reason why this one, like I will be setting up my February monthly pages in my social media bullet journal second week of January. I don't know why I keep saying July. Second week of January. I set up my bullet journal for January. I've already set up. I think I set it up around like the 10th of December because I just need to start thinking ahead. That's how my social media goes. I think ahead. I plan more for the future month than I do for the current month type thing. So yeah, that one is there. So that one usually is okay as far as it's not really overlapping with much. Then we're going to go to my reading journal. I am organizing these by the ones that are most flexible. I guess I should have said that. Like a lot of these I kind of organized by kind of what I felt was like more important, except here kind of like as I remembered them, or like most frequent. But now I'm just kind of doing which ones are the most flexible. So my reading journal, the actual setup is once readathon released. It's usually toward the end of the month, but it's usually going to be maybe that third week of the month as opposed to the fourth week of the month. Hopefully. Maybe not, but that's usually the thought process. However, if I did not get to set it up before the month ends, it's not that big of a deal, especially because I'm going to be doing a lot of my reading tracking and my actual Hemlock and Oak Daily. So that's going to help with that. So I can just always transfer information once I actually set it up. So this is not set on stone. This is very flexible. Especially this year because my reviews are going to be in the back of the book versus intertwined within my monthly pages. In 2025, I had them, like whatever books I read, I reviewed them with that month set up. So I needed to know how many pages or space to reserve for those reviews before I actually set up for the next month. So we have that. Affirmations, journal of joy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That one's probably going to have to be pretty darn close to the beginning of the month. So we're going to hold off on that one. Catch-all, I actually think this one does need to be set up pretty early. Because it just kind of helps me become more aware of what's coming up for that month. And a lot of things, it's not going to be set in stone. And for me, again, like with my weeks, a lot of things get added throughout the month. So my third week and my fourth week, probably a lot isn't going to get added between that time as far as what's happening the next month. So I think I could actually set this up probably like the third week. Maybe I should say second to last week of the month. I think that will work really well because, yeah, I just think I think it'll work well because of what I said a minute ago, which was, I don't think there's going to be much like additions to my schedule. There's last 2 weeks of the month. And I think this is going to go along the lines of my project planner, the project section of my project planner. So we'll say the project planner monthly calendar. I think that one can be with my catch-all. The only thing is, like, I think I can do my calendar. I just don't know if I can do, like, I want to start doing my setups for the month a little bit different. I want to kind of set some priorities for the month and things like that. We'll have to play around with it, but this is what I'm thinking. I think if I was to change, like, how or when I do this stuff, I think it's going to probably change after January. So I'll, like, test this out in January, see what happens. Maybe even December, I'll start to kind of get a feeling for it when I set it up for January. But I'll have a lot of time off at the end of December, so it's not like a true indication. So I think the end of January is when I'll like reevaluate when I can best set some of these planners up. So for my goals planner, which is also my Moxie Life, but it's those goal setting sections, I definitely want to do the last week. So that is one that I feel like there is not much flexibility for. So I kind of do want to set that up the last week of the month. Monthly projects. I think this could be, honestly, the first week of the month. Currently journal. First week of the month. 3-year journal, no setup required. Like I said, affirmation journal of joy. I'm not putting that on here because I feel like that can be done. Health and wellness. Oh, my health journal. Health journal. I think for the month of February, it's going to get set up probably pretty close to the start of February because at that point, I'll kind of get an indication of what needs to be included in the journal. Because this is my first time doing one of these, or capturing a lot of the things that I'm capturing. So I think for the month of February, I'm going to set it up pretty close to the start of February, but that could change. So this one I actually don't know. So we'll just have to keep that one kind of in limbo because this one might be something that I could set up quite a bit earlier. So the currently one I wanted the first, I don't think I explained this one. I want this one to be the first week of the month because at that point I would have known everything that has happened the first week of the next month. Oh, this is, yeah, okay, that is the first week of the month. But the first week of the next month, so like I will be setting up for the month of January at the beginning of February, because at that point I will know how much space I need for each prompt. Like I want to write about the movies I watched, the TV shows that I watched. If I didn't watch any movies, then I don't need any space for it. If I watched a lot of TV shows, then I need a large amount of space for it. Plus I want to talk about like my favorite. If I did not watch a lot of TV shows, then maybe half the space. So that's the reason why that has to get done after the next month has started, because I already know at that point what I want to capture for the previous month. My vision board, I didn't even include that in here because like I mentioned, that's kind of used whenever. Social media tracker, first to second week. Oh, of month. So that's the first or the second week of the month. So basically I don't fill it in until the very end of the month. So what I usually do is come in the first or the second week to fill in for the previous month, and that's when I'll just go ahead, decorate, and set up for the current month. So that's fine there. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm missing anything. My daily planner I'm not putting on here because just like I'm using the daily pages, the monthly pages are going to be more for tracking. I am going to be using it to track the TV shows I watched. So I'll just throw some stickers on there to decorate it, and I'll just likely do that in combination with one of these other setups, or I'll just do it on my own time. When I say in combination with one of the other setups, that's usually if I film it for a video. If I don't film it for a video, I just do it whenever. But I think that's it. I think that's kind of given me an idea of what to think about as far as this goes. So you can kind of see daily, it's not really, I don't really need to do much of a schedule, but I think my journal is going to be at nighttime, and then my catch-all planner is going to be in the morning and the evening. So again, those are two balanced out. My health and fitness is kind of just on its own. My project planner every other day, every 3 days, something like that. Social media as needed, monthly projects. Some months it's going to be multiple times a week, some months not. So you can kind of see, I think, as far as checking in on a daily basis or throughout the week, it's not going to be that much. It's just going to come with these setups. And I need to figure out how to do this, because this is the problem. When I go to set up, like on the weekends, this is when I start slacking off on my daily. Because I'm doing all this other stuff, I won't come in here and do my daily planner. I'll do my health and fitness. That one usually isn't a problem. My catch-all is already set up, so it's really not much there. I usually don't check in with that on the weekends, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah. This is kind of what I'm going to have to figure out, y'all. So I think this kind of gives me an idea for my routine. I think just kind of mapping it out right now, I have 2 things that I'll do like on the weekends. So like my catch-all planner and my goals and action stuff. So my weekly reset. That's what I usually call it. We'll do most of those for the week. I think I'm going to be doing my project planner now a little bit earlier. Sometimes I do that with that. We'll kind of see. We'll see, guys. We'll see. I still kind of need it before. I don't know. I could probably do it right before I do my catch-all. So I could still probably combine it. And like I said, Project Life is in kind of its own like little realm. I'm going to pick a day. That's going to be my Project Life day. So that will go in my planner. This is what needs work. Because I have first week of the month. But I have monthly projects currently. Possibly my reading journal. But probably not. So that's 2. Right now that's 2 journals that get set up the first week of the month. The second week of the month, I have my social media planner. That's the only one that probably gets set up that week. But my social media tracker can also get set up that week. So that might be the 2 there. Then I'm thinking my catch-all will be my 3rd week. My social media, that is a huge setup. So I need to put that on there. That's a huge setup. Because that's a bullet journal and it's a lot of pages. It takes a while. It takes like an hour. So it might not take as long in the future. I'm still trying to figure out what I need. So it takes a little bit longer. So yeah, the 3rd week, I can probably maybe do my catch-all with my project planner. And then that will leave my goals, my reading journal, and my health journal for that last week. I think I did split it up, y'all. I really did. I think I did split it up. So I'm happy with that. I know this isn't like what you thought of when I said routine. But this is what I meant for routine, kind of figuring out like when I can move things around. What I think I am going to do is I think I am going to like pencil in almost like a calendar and then figure out when I could do certain things. But I think what I'm going to do is just pencil in. I don't know how I would do that because I don't want to set dates, but I don't know. I'll figure that out off camera. But there we go, guys. A very long chatty video. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to kind of throw my ideas out there with you guys, because some of you might have journals that are similar, and me saying, hey, you know, maybe I can set this up a lot earlier than the last week of the month might get you to thinking, hey, I can probably do that too, instead of waiting till the last minute when you're setting up a gazillion other planners. So yeah, hopefully this kind of helped you guys out. Yeah, so there we go, guys. Bring on the new year, right? All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please press that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing. That is all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.